And welcome to another episode of Burn the Stockpile. This is Jupiter from Manlius, New York, and I have with me my good friend.
Dominic from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
And today we have a super special episode for you as we are going to basically review team logos, which are very near and dear to all our hearts. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at them and try to, put together some of the things that we see and basically just share this in our community because this is a big way that we identify people in the community, right, Dom?
100%. And I want to thank everyone for giving us a chance to review this stuff. It should be a lot of fun, I think, going over some of the teams that people may not have seen before.
Yeah, so the first piece of art that we have up is the Manchester Mavericks. This is a group I know pretty well. I have their sticker that they mass produced and making trades with some of them. And I will say that the logo itself is very indicative of the city. The Manchester Bee is a big thing. It's a industrial revolution um, callback basically to the idea of it being a working class town and stuff. And there's books by the name of it. Like there's all kinds of things when I was doing research on it that basically speak to the way of the city and how it is basically united in its effort and how it has a lot of pride in being a blue collar city. So I thought that was really neat. The logo itself is super clean and crisp, and they've basically used the color palette of a bee, and basically using the Maverick logo as the tail piece, the tail coloring of the bee. So nothing too like crazy, but perfect in my opinion as far as like the way it goes. And plus, it has this ember gold kind of quality to it. So that's all I got for this one, Dom. What do you want to add to it?
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I like the fact that they didn't use anything from the game, but they came up with the symbol from their home city, as well as I like the fact that its stinger is the Maverick symbol. I thought it was really cool, and just the way the wording is here, how they capture it. I like the coloring, and yeah, overall, really cool team. And I've also met them. They're a bunch of great people, to be honest.
Our next group is the South Wales Snack Lifters, and in this picture we have this like Doctor Doom meets Thanos look that is going on, and I'm guessing this is a front-on view of their interpretation of the Snack Lifter card, which you can see here. The comparison, you can see that there's a likeness. The color scheme is nice. I like purple and green. They're very like they're nice contradicting colors. So they basically pop each other. So it makes for a really like bright and vivid type of logo. It's very kind of plain to me, and I don't think it speaks volumes for the idea of Keyforge. Like, I don't think somebody would see this and know that it was Keyforge, but I do like the idea of it.
Yeah, I think this one's interesting. I almost feel like this logo may have been something that they used for multiple teams and whatnot. And the little brief that they gave me was that they said that this was a combination of players from several cities, including Welsh and the capital of Cardiff, and they're called the South Wales Snake Lifters. I concur that the logo itself it may be the Snake Lifter, but it just doesn't represent Keyforge to me. But what's important is it probably represents to the team itself.
The next logo we have, this is basically Star Trek Laden, and the team's name is Geordie LaForge. Is that right? I think I said it
That's
right.
correct. Yeah.
I think I said it right. So this is basically a spoof off of the idea of Star Trek. The bridge that they have on over the star here is like the Star Alliance star with the bridge. The bridge is the Thyme Bridge, which is a big bridge in the city where they are from, and it's upside down in the logo, and it still tweaks me out with my OCD. I feel like maybe we put the logo upside down, but I would love to know the reason why it is. But as far as the logo goes, it's clean, it's crisp, it's pretty identifiable for a Keyforge player. I don't know if it would identify well with a non-Keyforge player, so that's kind of where I'm at with this one.
I actually disagree a little bit. I think it does represent Keyforge just because the star line symbol is there, and with them being called Geordie LaForge, I think a lot of people will get it. I concur though that the bridge, it's odd that it's like upside down in this aspect. But something that they told me is that Newcastle people from Newcastle are often referred to as Geordies, hence the name Geordie LaForge. So having the Star Trek Star Alliance combination in the famous bridge, I think that's an awesome combo altogether.
Yeah, I like it's a very clean design. So moving on to another clean design, we have the Bristol Plague Rats, and the Bristol Plague Rats basically come at us with a black and green design that is really neat the way that they colored it because it looks like there's like basically a hole in the sewer and you're looking down on these things and it's like lighting up the top half, but the back half is still being consumed by the darkness of the sewer. I really like that aspect. I like the green because it kind of tells me like it's like I don't want to say toxic because of the word what it means in the community, but like it has that like that rat feel to it. Like it feels like it's scuzzy and like bringing some plague. So with that said, I really dig the I dig this design. I think it's really clean cut, very urban, and really neat to me. So
Yeah, and it's funny you say the sewers. I instantly think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, oh, is this Splinter's like evil cousin or something like that? So old school reference. But another thing they pointed out that I didn't notice until afterwards is that the city background that you see that the plague rat is basically on top of, that's actually the outline of the Bristol skyline. So that I thought that was kind of neat. I concur that I like the shadowing that they have on the words, and it's just a excellent logo. Almost reminds me of like a soccer or a rugby team.
yeah, I agree. I like the color scheme. It's really neat. I like green though. It's like my favorite color, so I might be partial. But I didn't notice the city. I didn't notice the city skyline until you said that. So that's a cool little bit that you brought in. So that's neat. So with the next group that we have up, they are the Karlstad Key Frogs, and this is basically two pieces of their art. One is the initial one, and that's the one with the cleaner looking that looks like a frog and stuff. And then there is the more finished version of the Karlstad Key Frogs. That is the one that looks like a actual key frog, and it's like being hypnotized and getting ready to basically open its mouth and spit out a portal of key. Like so that's kind of neat. Here I like the color scheme because they're using the gold, the blue, and I wish they had used like red maybe on the frill of the lizard because the
Mm.
orange kind of matches into the sun a little bit. And they would give us the key colors because I really like it when logos have key colors like that and stuff. But overall, this is a really neat design. It's fun. It's very Keyforge like so. I approve of it a lot.
100%. This is it very much feels like a Keyforge thing. It instantaneously pops out. I agree that it's a frill there. Kind of blends into the sun background. But a little bit of a backstory that the team told me about this is that they're from Karlstad, Sweden, and they don't like the word team, but it's more of a community, and they don't want anyone to be left out. They also mentioned here that yeah, their idea came from the love of the key frog, so that's why they have it. And yeah, I think they did a great job. Concur that maybe just a few more colors to be added or a change of what they use for either its frill or the sun itself would have been the only small changes I would have recommended.
All right, and so we move on to the next piece. The next piece is the London Urchins, and the London Urchins are a pretty big group of players that play out of London, of course. And the Urchins, I think, are interesting that they picked that name because I'm guessing that it has Charles Dickens kind of tied into it as does the Urchins card. But it's the symbol that they used like with the urchin and the amber for eyes I think was pretty brilliant, and then the little cowl that they have going around it has the three dots that is symbolic of the stealth technology that as we've learned in prior art groups when we did the Bad and Rad Penny. Somebody had mentioned that they used this like three dot symbol that we thought was a placa or something, but it's actually like how their stuff technology is defined and how they hide and basically stuff like that. So overall, this is a pretty sweet design that is not it doesn't speak as heavy as to Keyforge as me, but it is definitely Keyforge. So like I think they hit the nail on the head with having a very unique and interesting piece of art to go with the term urchin.
Yeah, and I think they did a great job here. I actually think it does speak Keyforge to me. I just think I will have like maybe a little bit of a different background, but the black and white is really good overall, and I love that the only color is the amber eyes, like you mentioned. The other thing that they said, which I thought was a fun little community thing, was they did quite a few different tournaments, and to see who their top player was, their top player when they won these events was their Fagin, which again Charles Dixon, as you mentioned, you have Fagin there, and I just love that also. ties
Yeah,
in with the Keyforge.
yeah, another thing that I just had a revelation on their on their symbol too is that their background like burst is actually kind of like reminiscent of a sea urchin. So I think that was intention. I think that was intentional too,
Oh,
um,
okay.
because of the spikes and stuff, right? Like as that's like what a sea urchin would look like. So I think they layered that in there and kind of sneaky, almost got by me, but I just recognized it and said, oh, you know what? I bet you that's what they were thinking. And if they weren't, it just ended up being cool like that, I guess. But I'm sure that that was planned. It had to be. All
They
right.
just got more points because of you saying that.
Yeah, yeah, they did. So, so with that moving forward, we go and we switch to the next group, which is the witches, and the witches are a mystical bunch, and this is a really simple, clean-cut design. It's dark. It has like the cool, like it has like a dis overtone in the color quality, but like
Hmm.
witches are really more like untamed, so that's a little bit offsetting. But at the same time, it's fine. Like I like the way this witch looks, and I don't know if orange would have been as good, but I don't think it would have changed much. But I think that the purple to yellow contrast is better than probably the orange to yellow. That'd be too similar. So overall, pretty cool. I like the shadowy outline of the face and stuff. So pretty simple, not a lot to talk about here, but this is a cool design, and I think they've been around for a while because I remember them back when I first started doing podcasts.
Yeah, and I would like to hear more about if the witches are still around. This was a one picture that was given to me, but they weren't sure if how big they still were. And they're from the southwest of the UK, was what I was told. Also interesting. I love the amber eyes. Again, amber eyes for the witches, amber eyes for the London urchins. There's almost a theme going on here. Very straightforward, like you said. Nothing much more to add for this one.
Yep. And so what we'll do is move on to one of my favorite pieces of art, the Copenhagen Chain Gang. This is like these are guys that had joined up with us in the UA when we first built the community team, and they were like there. So I saw this art like a long time ago, and I was absolutely like in love with it because I love Chain Gang to start with. Like here's the art for Chain Gang, the actual card art, and like you see how they basically have transformed that into this like actual gang. And so they have all these little urchins that are walking around now with chains, and they're basically trying to rip up the city or do whatever they're doing in the city and run the city. And like you have the silhouette in the background, which is a silhouette of a lot of the different architecture you might see in Copenhagen, like like samples of it, right? Like the dome is like the one that you'd see on the church that they have there. The square one is like very much like the kind of buildings you see along the waterfronts, and then you see these random spires every so often. Copenhagen's a beautiful city, like color wise, like the way that is laid out. It's something to go see if you haven't seen it. And the shadows in the background too, like the chain gang is all through the city in the background too, and the silhouettes and stuff. So and then the red white background, like the depth that it creates back there with like that what I call like the rising sun contrast. Like it's always been one of my favorite when you have black, white, and red, and it just makes for depth, and I like it a lot. Like I think it pulls you in like in it, but it doesn't have like that strong central focus point, but it has like it pulls you into the whole thing and makes you look through the whole design. So I'm a big fan of this piece of art.
It's an excellent piece of art. I can't lie. The members are great people. I've met a few of the members of the Chain Gang, and yeah, it's just super excellent. It's a high quality logo, and it's a well finished logo. You can see it on their shirts, you can see it on their playmats, and you can see it that they got a great team. As far as the art itself, the yellow and the red, as Jupiter mentioned, is really awesome. And I could almost see this as if it was a part of a Super Nintendo like Street Fighter esque game. Like I'm about to face off against the Double Dragons. Like it's just it has that quality. Like Double Dragons versus the Chain King, maybe the Battletoads as well. But yeah, overall, I'm just having a little bit of fun because yeah, I think it's really good and yeah, just love the art for this one.
So with this one, we also have the color sample that comes with it, and the color sample is really cool. It shows like a very diverse set of colors though. It's almost like they reversed them, right? Like when you look at the color sample to what they used as their final product, it's like the colors kind of like the greens and stuff instead of being background became the reds, and then the reds became the greens. So I don't know if there's a story to that switch and stuff, but again, this like little bit of art is really cool, and I'll let Dominic finish this out like with the since he's the one that got the quote and found the quote about it. So
Yeah, so this came basically. We have Paul Homeland posted on the main Keyforge group saying that, hey, look, this is the art, the concept, not the concept art, but the just the testing of colors, basically from the artist, and the person just threw this in for them when they commissioned the piece of art. I don't find it fits Keyforge so much, but it's a great show of colors, and it's a great, interesting contrast, and it's a little bit as if you had someone coming in and showing what they would do with like a creature from Keyforge, and that's exactly what you have. And I love that it's just a little bit of a note on the bottom saying a novel by Paul Homeland, who was the person, of course, that requested the commission for their chain gang, right? So awesome little art that we get to see. So I love these little bonus stuff.
Yeah, this style on this like a color splotch like makes me think of the Gorillas and like the art style they
Mm.
have for the
Oh
music.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it has that kind of fun like interesting tone to it, right? And like that's kind of neat. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's pretty awesome. And if there is a book out there that is about the Copenhagen chain gang, I would like to read the story if it's a short story or whatnot. I'm always interested in Keyforge lore, so send it our way. We would totally want to read it. I speak for Dominic too on that one, I know. So
100%. I don't know if you've picked up the official Tales of the Crucible, but I'll read everything Keyforge. Love it.
yeah, so we're gonna move on to our next group, and these guys are the Steel City Snufflegators. And they have a bunch of stuff. They have a nice progress. They gave us a lot of info. So this this one here is the original. This is the one that I think is was the first going of it. And as you can see here in this one, the Snufflegator almost looks like a frog with like ripping through a piece of paper. It doesn't look so much like a Snufflegator to me. So I think that when they evolved it to the second version here, the second version actually is way better as far as it all goes. It has the color, it has the look of the Snufflegator coming through the mat, which is really neat and cool. Then we were talking about the Steel City Snufflegators. The lettering has like either like it's a Lego type quality for construction or like maybe rivets. If there were
Mm.
rivets, like that's what we had come up with Dominic earlier. So like I think like all in all, I really like this playmat. I like the colored in version. The more plain one, like the initial one, I think was a really good starting point. But I like how they evolved it. And then you see here they have amber pieces that have Snufflegators on them. Totally want some of those. And they have also the infamous Bad Penny. Um, which I let I guess Dominic talk about, but this thing is absolute 3D masterpiece. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. So literally, it says Keyforge on it. It has a bad penny, and I believe it's double sided, so it's a bad penny on both sides saying Keyforge. I would have to be corrected otherwise, but I obviously everyone wants this coin. I would take it in a heartbeat. To touch about the original art, it almost feels like the old commercials that you saw for Apple with their iPods and whatnot. Has a similar silhouette feel. I actually kind of dig it. I think I would wear that because it has the minimalist approach is what they were trying with this, and I think I would wear that if as a shirt. Just as a team shirt, but for my playmat, I would want something more sophisticated, like their more finished product. And it's interesting enough. I actually reread my notes, and the Steel City Snufflegators is because they're based out of Sheffield, which is the nickname of the city is the Steel City after its historic production of steel, and hence why they're called that for their team. So I thought, oh, that's really good. And the Howling Pit is their local game store, so that's why they have that in the bottom left-hand corner. And yeah, so just supporting their teams. Great team, a bunch of great people, and they got a lot of cool swag. That's what it is.
Yep, you really can't touch those, but you can touch this.
Oh God, here comes the diss jokes.
Yeah, so this is a wonderful piece. There's nothing discerning about it at all. I think that it is a absolute simplistic approach to a team logo with the rips in the background, not at all discerning, and like with all the color choices and stuff, and the font and stuff like that. It's just cool. And the biggest thing I take away from this is the detail in the curve of the shadow across the can't touch this, and how it basically pulls you into the ripped realm behind it with the curve. There's like a slight curve that basically kind of overlaps into it, which you can see with my arrows here. So I show you what it is. But like I think that those are really that's a really interesting layering of the application to this. So.
100%, and just a fun little team logo. To be honest, it's just they just said, "Hey, you can't touch this." Obviously, great pun on this, and I love MC Hammer, so that it's just a nice little thing. And these guys are actually based out of Poland, originally from Krakow, and that's the city they're from. And the art was made by Dagmar Darsica, Darsica, and they have a great team picture as well here. And Dominic, who shares the same name as me, says he designed these shirts for their Polish Grand Championships, and I think the shirts look sick. I'm curious what the bottom of the art. They have something there that they didn't send in, but yeah, they can mention it in the comments. But the shirts look sick. I know my wife would be a big fan because she loves purple, and hey, who doesn't want to touch this? Or in this case, can't touch this.
And so with that, the Polish group, we were going to segue into the German group, one of the best competitive groups I think in the KFPL this season. They had a bunch of people in. They had I think four in the top group, like for the actual league, and all of them played extremely well. They got a little bit unlucky. They had three in one group, and they only had one in the other group. But that one person made it to the finals. That's Kiwi, the captain, I believe. I might be speaking wrongly, but Erie Daly has done really well. Lorenzo Vincenzo, they have Kiff, all kinds of people, and their logo is pretty sweet. It is basically a trident with the Hamburger Atlanteans with cool font work. The banner that they have here is one I hadn't seen before, and I think I like it the most out of all of them. Like the basic logo is really cool and stuff like that, but when you put it on a banner like this, I love the art. I love how clean it looks. It's very well done graphically, and I can't say enough good things about Hamburger Atlanteans. And on a quick side note, even though we're talking about art, I will speak of the other character. Like when we did the event for the Christmas Triad, Erie Daly won the event and decided to, instead of taking the $275 that he had won, he donated it to Doctors Without Borders. So that's the kind of class that these guys have, and they are 100% in my highest esteem and respect.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things for the Keyforge communities. We have excellent people, and we got awesome teams out here. As far as the arts, for me, I concur that the banner itself, it looks really nice. I like the yellow on the banner going into the blue. The two images are really sharp, and it has very much underwater theme. And I think they were just getting prepared for the unfathomable coming out for the next set, and said, you know what, we're ready to take them on.
Maybe, and it's like a interesting thing here too is like I normally don't like monochromatic type of artwork when it comes to logos because it tends to get lost in the all being blue or whatever color. But they did a really good job. The artist that did this did a really good job of making sure that the dark and the light parts of the blue and the blacks and stuff like that really still pushed the design forward, right? Like so that's a kudos to that guy. He was a lot of attention to detail in the way that he presented this design. So, and the aquatic features of it is really neat. I very much appreciate it. So, with that said, we will move on to Team GG. Their original logo was a key, and they decided that they wanted to make it more like less Keyforge and more about where they're from. And they're from Florence, and so they have basically implied the Florence flower, basically the leaf, into their design, and that's why the GG is the way it is, and it's like basically cut up to look like this like little flower about the city. They still have the cards at the bottom and the like little racing piece of amber it looks like. So I know the one of the main peoples for Team GG is also one of our co-commentators, Leo Lindsay. So he's done a lot of work for them and done a lot of redubs and stuff of the stuff that we put out. So all around, good folks, good solid logo. The color scheme is also based on Florence, I'm assuming, with the red and the whites and the yellow. So
Uh,
pretty cool.
So actually, the color scheme, I'm just they sent me a message about it.
Hmm.
The color scheme of the red and white are the colors of the started as a team. Sorry, give me a second. It's the colors of, yes, you are correct, of the cities, but the orange is the color of the store. Um, and so that's where the orange that came from. So the red and white was the colors of the cities, and the orange was the color of their local game store. So like it's really cool that they brought in the three main colors there, and there's a lot of symbolism in everything about this logo. So it means a lot to them, and for them to be able to tell that story, I think is really cool.
Yeah, so like that's a pretty sweet design. And talking about sweet designs, we're moving on to the coolest of all the wolves, the More Wolf Pack from Seattle, Washington. Now this design is really cool. You have like two things here, and they look very the first one, like this, the one with the white and the big group of more wolf pack, looks like it was hand drawn. It has like a Pokemon-esque kind of feel to it, which is kind of cool. And it's just funny that they're all wearing glasses. It takes me to the idea of Reservoir Dogs, which is one of my favorite
Mm.
movies of all time. And like I think it's really neat, and it's neat in that Wolfpack basically having all the more wolves. As you know, with the more wolf card, they basically feed off of each other as far as like readying up and going. Then you see this more polished, like almost looks like a patch, right? Like you put this on a coat, kind of symbol. It's really neat the way that it was executed as well, and I could just see this on a coat on the arm, like on a sleeve, like sewn on, and it's pretty solid. Like, and I can tell that it was fun loving. It was like fun loving and like created by the people probably in the group and stuff like that. And I think it's pretty neat. Like, it's solid for what it is.
Yeah, so this one came in from Sad Cry Bear from the Moorwolf pack, and it's funny. I think if it was going to be from your favorite one of your favorite movies, that they almost need to wear suits, but they got the glasses. That does the trick for me, and I love this piece. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and their entire idea is that they were saying that they like to be competitive, but again, another group that they're about their community, and that's they thought the more wolves would represent their community well, and I think they chose really well. Excellent colors here of the yellow and black, and I think that this one works out. So that's how that one goes for it.
All right, so now we're gonna move into a couple of bigger team logos and talk a little bit about those. And so what we have here is we have Reap Out and their graphic logo that was designed like very like comic book like knockout kind of punch design. Reapout.com, it advertises who they are, where to find them. Red and orange like loud colors, they make it catches and demands attention. You see like how well it transformed onto this clear ember that they had made, that has their logo in white and their ember is like clear so you can see through it almost. And kind of gives it a glow, a glowy type ember. So very cool, very awesome. And I know that you can pick up this ember if you like at their store on the reapout.com. So go check them out if you're interested in any reapout kind of gear and stuff. The head of the team, Casey, is an old friend, and he's been really busy. I haven't really talked to him in a while, but I hope he's all well and everything is going well for his family and stuff. So reapout.
Yeah, yeah, Repel's one of the original OGs. They're one of the original Keyforge teams that were on the competitive scene that people heard of. And this symbol here, it's just straight up forward. Repel, replace it with PAL from like the 70s Batman TV show, and or any of the old school comics. And that's all it is. It's very comic book feel. The colors are very comic book feeling. And they you can easily spot them when they're at their tournaments wearing their reap out shirts. Yeah, great bunch of guys really, and they're more than willing to show new players the game.
Yep, we had a couple of those guys in our group too. We had George and Dave and one of the other top four finalists, Fierza, which is Alex from Australia. So um, hope I didn't miss one, but I think that was all they had. I think it was three. But so moving on, we have Team SAS, one of the OGs, like you said. Also, the home of Corey Than, who is the founder and upkeeper of Decks of Keyforge. You might be familiar with that site. If you're not, then you probably should be. It's a great tool in helping you to learn things. And what we have here is the basic SAS symbol with the luxurious playstyle spider top. Because they basically are sponsored by Luxurious Playstyle, so that's why they're known as Team SAS of the Luxurious Playstyle, and they've had a good working relationship with Maddie. They've donated to our tournaments. They've been giving away gift cards and stuff, so that's awesome. And I have nothing bad to say about Team SAS as they were the first team that I was ever part of, and I was happy to be there. They have like wonderful people, and as you see on this one, this mat is customized, and this is Andrea's or Andrea. I don't know how they pronounce it, but this is her mat with the dust pixie eating like amber cake. It seems like so. It's very cute, very whimsical, and it's part of who she is as a person. And they all had mats that had like something customized and representative of themselves. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a great piece of art. Team SAS, again, yeah, they've been around for quite a while. Everything about them is just a great bunch of people. I've met lots of them because they are very much on the competitive scene. I would love for Andrea to comment in on the video if she's watching. And I know I've seen, or for others to comment from the main Keyforge group, I know I've seen this Dust Pixie, which is a great piece of fan work that she got put onto her mat, and a lot of the team has these cool little things that they've added. So nothing but cool things to say about the team. Interesting choice of colors, and they have a very sharp looking. It's almost like a uniform if when you see Team SAS coming by for their shirts. They got very nice, almost like polo shirts, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, they're definitely uniform-esque, but in the league we had Z and Just a Guy playing and Dr. Sheep. So like they were well represented in the league as well. So being on a team like that has been useful and helpful. And as anybody, like if you play in a group of somewhat, or you're a community or whatnot, you basically are teams, like your groups, and you're doing what you do and stuff. And so that's going to take us into this new group that I just became a part of, the Ancient Bear Republic. I play in their league. Their symbol is basically an ancient bear on a California flag, basically, and it's just clean to the point. It tells you exactly everything you want to know about what they are. They are basically from California. They play Keyforge. They love Keyforge. They run a league where they have captains that actually pick teams, and then you play team versus team for prizes. So it's pretty fun. Like if you want a really fun like casually competitive league, um, there's lots of talent in it as well, and like it's cool if you want to get in there, and all makes and models are welcome because the team is 10 people deep and you play as a team, you win it and lose as a team. So it's absolutely fun. Most fun I've had playing Keyforge yet so far. And I'm thankful for that because I've put so much work into the league this season. I kind of forgot to play it, so getting back and getting to play it some has been wonderful. So thank you to those guys out there.
Yeah, a great bunch of guys. I love their. Not only are they involved in that type of stuff, but they also like you'll see that we got a picture up here of like stickers that they give out. Again, it's common theme of teams giving out stickers, and their logo is awesome, right? And initially, when we were discussing this, I said, "Yeah, it kind of looks like a flag." And Jupiter mentions, like, "Yeah, it literally is a representation of the California Republic flag." And I was like, "Oh." I had no idea. I literally got that. So the fact that you got no one like me that's saying that before they even realize it's a flag like that, I thought that was really cool. Very straightforward, very a minimalist in its approach, but it gets the job done. It just stands out as one of my favorites, to be honest. It's just nice and easy, just taking that ancient bear and putting it on the flag, really replacing the California Republic bear.
All right, so we're moving on then from that one, and we are going to look at Team Exalted, which is a team out of the UK as well. Kind of got misgrouped a little bit, I guess, but they basically, this is Baron von Fabulous's team, if I remember correctly, and very simple to the point, very Keyforge, awesome colors, like sticks out in a crowd kind of thing. I like the contrast, and I like the aquatic green with the blue. It makes it cool with the yellow in between. Kind of just makes it all pop. Very simple, very clean logo. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say. They're from Southampton on the south coast of the UK, and it's just that. It's just you get that one piece of amber, and it's exalted amber. So that's all I got for this one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. And so from there, we move on to the Gray Riders. This is a group I've never heard or seen before. We saw this, they submitted the logo, but they look like they're having fun in their picture here, their team picture, with their Gray Rider shirts. The Gray Rider logos that they made here is really like it's basically not even monochromatic, it's like monotoned, right? Like it's all black and white. Um, lost what it's called, but it's not called monochromatic. But monochromatic would need a color. But I like this design for the most part. But like the one thing I would probably like to see a little bit of is maybe like some amber in the eyes of the horses, like to kind of give them that shine. Maybe like some kind of like color tinted like in the face area to match their crowns. I had said or like earlier when we were just earlier discussing it, like even if it was like I like the red, blue, and yellow, like if each of them had a
Mm.
color and their halo was kind of matching that color, I think that would have made it like way cooler to me. But I still like the concept here. I like the way the design of it. I like the idea of the Nazgul basically. I've always been a fan of that. So um, super solid design and very like cool for a local team. I'm supposing that they are.
Yeah, so they're called the Gray Riders, as you can see, and they're from Gray Lake, Illinois. So that's why they're called the Gray Riders. And one of the things that popped out to me that I do like about their logo is that I like how each rider is actually looking in a different direction. And in addition, just that the horses have a little bit of a different pose. I concur with Jupiter. One of the things that I think that would have made this pop, and they're probably still can grow as a team is that I would like to see just a little bit of color. So either their halos, I think the halos being the different colors, so the red, yellow, blue might be cool. I think if they were all yellow, that's fine by me. Just having a little bit of color, maybe the outer rim potentially, but the black and white does the job. And I know Jupiter and I were discussing about this, and he's like, "How come there's only three?" And I was like, "Well, if you're talking about if they're the horsemen and they're the four horsemen, death has to come a little bit later on when the other ones get TK'd out to bring them and revive them all, right? So that's probably what was happening for this one.
Yeah, if it was the Four Horsemen, not the Grey Riders, but if it was the Grey Riders, as like in the Tolkien, you need four more of them. So maybe those are the Four Horsemen, and these are just like the bogus, like the heralds of it. But it's all good.
True. True.
But anyhow, so we're moving on. This next logo is a team logo, the Archons of Atlanta. These are some awesome guys that play some really good Keyforge. And Cav was the one that we had in League this year that made League. But there's a lot of really high quality players down in Atlanta that I expect to see make a move at some point. And this is just really like plays with that black, white, and red color work that I like. It's very Georgia. Georgia is all about black and red if you follow football at all. So it has like the UGA kind of color code to it, and then like it's a fireball because I tell you it's like Hotlanta. They all they call it Hotlanta. So I used to live not too far from there. So this really speaks like loudly for what Atlanta represents and what it is in a very simple, clean way. So kudos to you guys for nailing it.
Yeah, and I don't have too much for this one. This was more of something. I'd almost see this as something that I would add when I'm playing games online. Just a nice, simple design. I think my critique for this is that if I was to put this on a shirt, I'd just like to see it elevated a little bit more. So just maybe a little bit more depth in the fire or the fireball here in general if it was going to go on a shirt, but I don't think it was meant for that. I think it was just, hey, this is our team name and just a quick representation, right? So
Yeah, exactly. So moving on from that, we move on to the Keyforge Coffee Break logo. This is a friend of mine, Cam. I play with him every day from basically 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock Central Time Zone. For Eastern, it's 1 to 2. But basically, what happened here was all for one from Cote, or Cote, however they want to pronounce it. Hooked him up with a little like spoof of the grammar bot, drinking a cup of coffee, and then he made it into a fuller, like there's an actual full logo of the grammar bot that one of his friends actually dolled up for him even more. So very simple in design, but very well executed. So it's always cool to see Keyforge art kind of implemented. So I was pretty stoked about this one.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything other than it's just the old school style. Reminds me of the '90s when you're just adding a little bit stuff, getting ready to add some words to make it a meme or something. But it's a hey, it's break time, and you instantly can tell that as he's drinking his coffee. So that's all I got for this one.
Yep. So that we move on now to one of the teams from Hong Kong, Team Labwork, who had Andy Ming in the final in the big group, and he did really really well. So Hong Kong has a pretty active Keyforge scene, and this is their logo. It's very mute in color, but it's very logos. So I'm assuming they love logos. But I like the idea like of what they got. It looks like the robot from I think it's Poke, is it? Like I don't remember. I have to look it up, but I've seen this robot
I think you're
somewhere.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah,
we
sorry.
have seen this guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like I said, kind of muted in color. I'd like to see a little bit more vibrance in it, but for the most part, pretty sweet, like conceptual work.
And the only question I have, because I'm not as familiar with it, is that if this is hand drawn, it almost looks hand drawn to me, and maybe it's just the way the colors are, but it looks like they put the image in the background and the team in front of it. But yeah, it looks like it's hand drawn for some reason to me. It looks awesome. I like it, but maybe I'm just overlooking it. But yeah, it's I like it. It's interesting. It's something a little bit different.
Yeah. All right. Well, so now we're gonna move on to the Dalcarlia Demons. I have no idea what Dalcarlia is, but I do like the black, white, and red concept here, and the art is like really cool. It's very clean, and it gets right to the point of demons. So I'm guessing these guys are fans of Dis and the Orb of Invictus. I don't know how you say it, being their center point here, and you see the Dis logos off nice and proportional, very symmetric the way they split it. And then you have like of course you have to put the best card in the game hidden at the base of the Orb of Invidious. The
Oh, I didn't even notice that at
Yeah,
first. Ah,
control the weak. Yeah, so super sweet,
ouch. Yeah.
super sweet design. Has all the dis impy everything here except for Lord Invidious, right? And he's still represented by his orb. So awesome design, like really cool. Name doesn't really speak Keyforge, but the design is 100% Keyforge. So great job.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you can do as well, right? Is that you may not have a an artist that can make something new and fabulous for your team, or maybe you just want to do something that is using art that's already in the game and mirroring it. I've done this with one of my favorite games in the past, and I made a beautiful playmat, just taking art that was already in the game, and people commented and said, similar to this, it was symmetric, and people love that type of stuff. So yeah, it's just a nice and easy. And I would like to hear from the demons and let us know if you watch this, where you guys are from, and what gave you the team name.
Yeah, so do that. Reach out to us. So the next team I'm very familiar with. This is Kate's team, the Archimedes Team Archimedes from again London, not London, but sorry, the UK. Let me correct myself. It's not
That's
London,
correct.
but yeah, she's from
Leeds.
Leeds, and in Leeds, the owl is a very symbolic piece of the city. It's everywhere. They have gold owls. They have an owl trail, from what I've read. Lots and lots of owls, and it's part of their city crest. So they implemented it by using Archimedes, which is the owl that was Athena's owl. So it has like a tie into the wisdom and the knowledge. So when you're playing a game, it seems like a good sidekick to have. And everything here is just really clean cut, very professional. This is like super clean, like to the point of like just absolutely brilliant in its simplicity, right? And elegant. 100% behind this logo in every bit of it. So every bit of its form.
All I gotta say about this logo, I have multiple things to say, but if this was a car company, if someone was selling me an Archimedes car, I don't know what it looks like, but I instantly want to buy it. That's I was talking to Jupiter before, and I said this exact thing. Like it feels like a luxury car logo. I love the shapes here. I love that just you just have that hint of color in the eyes, that fiery orange red. And the only thing that I said that I don't think it needs is the Archimedes. Jupiter disagrees. He thinks it centers it perfectly. And yes, we have our different points of view, but the logo itself, absolutely beautiful.
Yes. I just want to know, is this the good guy version of the bad guy Jaguar? That's what I want
Ooh,
to know.
oh, that I think that works. Yeah.
So with that said, we'll move forward into one of the finalists of our group. The other, we talked about Hamburg having Kiwi. Well, the Autocannons are a group out of Italy, and they have adopted Demet 96, who is in the finals. So they are very excited to have him there. He made he kind of switched halfway through season. I think he was part of Team Da Vinci, and then he switched into the Autocannons because I think Team Da Vinci kind of got absorbed, or I don't know the full story, but something happened, and they basically became part of a bigger team, I guess. And the Autocannons, I know some of the guys have dealt with them, trading and buying decks off of them, and they're all fantastic as well. Just actually got one deck off of one of them recently, so I'm looking forward to that Z Marino on the Crucible. So great guys, super competitive, really fun and interesting stuff. And their logo here is very cute. It's like crazy cute, but I'm not sure. I want to say this is Keyforge, but I have a hard time saying that it's Keyforge. Other than the term autocannon and knowing that it's a Brobnar thing, but when you put a cat inside of it and it's yellow and it has two chain guns, like it's interesting.
So again, that's one of the things I also agree. This was like the snake lifter logo that we talked about earlier, where to us it doesn't represent Keyforge as much, but hey, it represents the team. They're having fun. I almost look at this cat and I instantly go like, I almost want to see an animated cat where it like slowly pops up and then it's looking back and forth after the auto cans have gone off. So that's just it's just a very cute little thing. I think I would have also liked to have seen just a little bit more color. Everything is just slightly different shades of like orange and yellow here, but I think just a little bit of more color would have been fun. But overall, I think it is a super cute picture, and it's a fun team name, to be honest.
Yeah, like I think maybe like they might be one of those teams that have other games that they play too and stuff. Because I know that one of the leads of it is a Pokemon guy too. So maybe it's just like they have it as more of a generalized team emblem versus. And that's why it says Autocannon's Keyforge. Maybe they have an Autocannon's Pokemon or Autocannon's Magic. Like who knows? But maybe that's why it's not so Keyforgey. But Autocannons is definitely cool. I like the concept that they came up with either way, um, and it speaks well to me. So the next design that we have here is the Big Z. This is Big Z from Team SAS's personal logo. We put this one in here because I figured I'd give his sister some props. She was the one that drew this up for him. I know he takes a lot of pride in it. So Van, congratulations on a design well done. This is very Z-esque and just clean, cut to the point, geometrics. But the family story that goes with it makes it even better. So
The only thing I have is apparently I just have to make jokes. Is that I think of the Power Rangers, and I think that when you say the Big Z, I'm expecting Zoran to just pop in, and now instead of Zoran, it's going to be Z himself, and his face is just about to talk to his team and tell them how they're going to win the world championships.
it's not a far fetch for Z to do that, but he's a no, but he's a great guy. He's the head of the Z Force Agents, which is the ABR team that I'm on, and he drafted me. So I think he has a good taste in the people he drafts. So So,
Just a little bit biased, but overall, yeah, no, I concur. Z's awesome person, and his entire family basically plays the game. Again, it's all about the community. It's all about families playing, having fun in Keyforge.
yeah, it's mostly him and his boy now, and he's trying to keep his interest alive. So we'll see. Hopefully it goes well, and Little Z is having fun in ABR too, because he's on my team as well. I'm sure he drafted him first. I would have. It's his son. It's a fun league, so yay. But all right, so we move on to another team. This is the New York City kids. These are the guys that basically come out of New York City, and they were on United Archons when we were a community team for a while. And then they went back and decided to just be their own entity, which is good because Noah, who is the one that I know the best out of them, he is top level, and the other two guys that he has with them are really good too. So I'm always having fun, and they've been around since early days of Keyforge as well. They're OGs. They all have like this mat that is similar in the concept. Like the concept is like pretty much the same throughout, but they have each of them personalized, almost like tagging and graffitied their own piece of artwork on all the different play mats that they got. So that's kind of neat because it's very New York City urban, hip hop-ish kind of vibe. And they have the Yerk, like their version of a Yerk, basically on all their pieces here, and especially this like little amber piece with the little New York and the New York City logo, and then this random Yerk just sitting on this big pile of amber. Like he's just had a conquest of it. So urban wise and New York City wise, this is a good representation of what it stands for and stuff as street art goes.
Yeah, I agree. This feels like instantly, even if I didn't know this was for Keyforge, I instantly, even if you didn't say New York City in the background, even if that was removed, I would know that this is some sort of New York team. I might not know what the game was for, but uh, I can tell that it's for Keyforge. But even with all this stuff, I think it's a beautiful piece. I love that little bit of hint of change between the different play mats that they have, and I've also met a few of them that actually played. I think it was in the just before the top 16 at Albany Vault Tour. I think I played one of them. I was like, oh, actually, I remember seeing this map before, because before I even started doing videos with Jupiter, I always love art from Keyforge, and I remember I was taking pictures of some of the cool mats, and I took a picture of one of their mats, which is the building bananas one, and it's just a fun, adorable. It's not fun, adorable. It's a fun mat. I don't know why I said adorable there, but it's a fun mat. Cool stuff. I love the spray paint. I love that you got the New York in the city background, which you've seen some of the city backgrounds in a few of the team logos now. Yeah, lots of fun stuff to say. Good team, good art, just fun stuff.
I just hear DMX in the background going, "You're gonna give it to you, gonna give it." To you." If you don't know DMX, go look him up. You'll get it. But we'll move on to the next piece before I get too crazy about this hip hop thing.
I
Gabby's,
love hip hop.
yeah, me too. Gabby's Gruins. Prepare to have your day ruined. The logo banner. This is just super cute. It's a Gruen. You can't hate Gruens, and it's clean, and it's a Gruen playing Keyforge. Like everything I want in life, fulfilled.
So I don't know if this team is recruiting at all, but I think my wife would like to be part of your team. She loves stuff like this, of course. She loves puns. Prepared to have your day groomed. She'll probably think is adorable, and I would like to hear more who this team's about. And like I said, uh, if you guys need anyone on your team, my wife would probably just love to be honorary member, just to have a shirt or a play mat with that. Because yeah, it's awesome little piece. I love this logo.
You might have to give a piece of amber for every 2 amber you take, though.
Ooh.
My wife might have cost of entry. No, just kidding. But yeah. So that the Gabby Gruins, man, this is super cute. Like logo. I 100% behind the fun of this. And I've never seen this one before till today. So it's when he threw in at the last minute on me, and I'm happy he did because Gruens make me smile, and Gruens make everybody smile. I used it as my fuzzy Gruen that I got in Albany. I used it as a gift for the person who was the first person in the last qualifier to not make the league, and that was Not Tonight. Wilkie on TCO, and she is in Poland. She's one of the Can't Touch Disc team mates. So I sent her a fuzzy Gruen. So my fuzzy Gruen now lives in Poland, and he has arrived safely, and he's happily living with Not Tonight. So I'm very happy about that. And then on a side note, we'll go back and we'll talk about another team I met in Albany, the Key Chargers. And this is like some very balance sheet art. So the colors, everything is just very professional and clean. Like, can't complain a bit about this. They have to have been super happy with this commission because it's for key charging. Like, this is about as what I would expect from a key charge. So,
And with that, we're actually gonna not talk too much about this one because I would like to reach out to the key chargers and to balance sheet, and because this art I think is very interesting and it's a well done piece of work. I would love to have balance sheets blessing and the key charges blessing if they'll give it to us to review this potentially in one of our full videos where we talk about the art itself and maybe having a balance sheet come on if he has the time to talk about with us because lots of things I think we could discuss here because this one is a full piece art, right? So it's very beautiful.
yeah, this is definitely a top-notch piece, and like I said, not that the other pieces haven't been great and stuff like that, but we've talked to Balance Sheet before, and he said he would find time for us at some point when he wasn't as busy, and he would love to be on the show. So this is the piece we want to talk about. See, now we coined you, and a couple other pieces that we'll throw in. We'll have a nice long one with you if we get you here. We won't waste your time, but so we'll move forward to the Calgary Cow Finds. Yeehaw! Here we have a big
So,
Brobnar person riding a crazy looking
cow fine.
cow fine.
Yeah.
So I'll let Dominic take this one. I think this is a great design. I know that Calgary has a rodeo. I know that what they're going for here with that. The 2020 is, I'm guessing, a year that they were founded kind of thing. The Brobnar symbol behind the cow fine and the Brobnar person is kind of a little bit like muffled in the back, but it's there and you can see it if you look. So all around, this is super Brobnar awesome, and I approve because I love Brobnar. I wish the reds were a little bit more red, like brightness wise, and then the oranges were more like dense. But other than that, like this is a really cool, simple design.
Yeah, so this is actually one of my all-time favorite logos. I think this is probably easily in my top three logos. It's above my own logo is how much I love it, and the whole reason why I love this so much is I'm a proud Canadian, and I've gone to the Calgary Stampede, which you probably have heard of, even if you're from North America. Maybe if you're outside of North America, you might not have heard of it. But yeah, it's a massive rodeo that Canadians, Americans, and people all internationally love to come from around the world. So the fact that they took a huge Canadian thing that's very popular and it's a cultural thing for Calgary, and I have family from Calgary, is the other aspect. And then they took my favorite house, which is Brobnar, and they implemented everything into it into a fun, unique, and just original piece of art. This is the reason why I'm extremely biased and love everything about this. So yes, so the Calgary Stampede, it's all about it's a very Western feel. So they were joking around saying at their local chain bound that they're like, hey, we should come up with a name. So they said, instead of the Calgary Stampede, why don't we call ourselves the Calgary Cow Finds? And I'm like, that's brilliant. And so I actually got this when I was trying to organize the various Canadian groups for Worlds. And so this is when I originally got the piece, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And they reached back out to me recently to give me a little bit more of the background. So I'll probably be linking the artist as well, which is ZM Schuster. .com, where you can find the artists who did this and some of their other work. But overall, awesome. Like I love everything about it. So I'm a fanboy. If you guys have an extra shirt, you guys have an extra playmat, let me know how much it is, and just send me a PM. I want to be an honorary member of your team because this is super cool.
I have to agree, this is pretty sick and super fun. So, with that, we move on to a team that may or may not still exist. We don't know. They are in the quells of time, and that is the Tipsy Time Travelers. The thing about this design is that it was made for Rachel Trimble. No, it was the first non-sealed Vault Tour winner and her team. And I know she has taken a hiatus from the game, so I don't know if this team actually still exists or not, which is kind of, I guess, interesting with the Tipsy Time Traveler idea. But with that said, I can only see Chuck Norris in this piece every time I look at it. Like I don't know why, but it makes it even better because it is like Chuck Norris is basically immortal, and maybe it's because he's a time traveler. I don't know. But this is a cool
So,
piece.
yeah, it's absolutely a fantastic piece, and you guys stop saying that you see Chuck Norris because now I keep on seeing Chuck Norris. Like I didn't see it, but you keep on drilling it into my head, and now I see a time traveling Chuck Norris, and this is a brilliant. Like it just skyrocketed how cool this piece is because I love the Chuck Norris memes. I think that's all hilarious. But yeah, I love the coloring that the artist used, and so I know the artist here because he's an excellent artist, and I say this as again in a very biased view because this is Arthur Gruen who also did my team's logo, and so he reached out and worked with Rachel, and he also worked with me. And fabulous person, and I've been wanting to talk about him for a bit. So I'll be linking his website, and so you can see some of his other art within the comments for this. But awesome little piece. I love that they're cheersing, and I don't know if you could ever get drunk though if you're a tipsy time traveler because you could just go back into the past from help from future self and stop yourself from doing anything too stupid.
I wonder if this has anything to do with Douglas Adams and like the whole like Hitchhiker's Guide. Because remember how they had to drink alcohol to basically be beamed.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
so maybe it has something to do with that too. I don't know. There's like he's holding keys. They're drinking, saluting. I mean, he's coming through a portal to see himself. Like definitely says that they're probably really good at whatever they do because they got all the info. They're doing the Biff thing from Back to the Future, so uh, I don't know. It's a pretty awesome piece. Like very whimsical, very cool, very neat. I do like the black and white rendition of it that is here with the silhouette. I think it's interesting, but I think that you kind of lose some of it if you don't have the color, and you don't get Chuck Norris, which would be way of a waste. So with that, we'll segue into your artwork for the A team.
Oh,
Every,
I have artwork. Oh.
everything about this is pretty fun. So I'll let you talk about your artwork because I already know like some of the things I like most about it, and like we talked about it already before. And I'll say
Yeah.
the one takeaway that I didn't like the thing I like most about it is the tattoo work that is so subtle on the shoulder and the pec and basically across the face. It ties it all really well. That's the number one thing I like the most about it because it's a subtle like detail that didn't have to be there, but the artist took the time to put it there. And the thing that I like the least is the eyes because I think they should be defined. And we've already had that discussion. Everything in between I'll let Dominic talk about because it's his piece.
Yeah, so basically, if you don't know my team, I'm part of the A team. We are a Canadian team, and what happened was that the second place person from our grand championships, I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, let's start a team early," and so I reached out to him, and he said, "Yeah, that sounds good." So we became a team fairly early on in Keyforge, and just working together and. We were like, hey, we need to come up with a team name because I want to get the shirt, I wanted to get the swag, I wanted to get the playmats, get ready for Worlds, right? Like everyone else did. And I want to, again, to be like the Calgary Cow Finds, I want to have a fun Canadian twist. And I said, why don't we call ourselves the A Team? Because we all loved the A Team growing up. It was a cheesy 80s a TV show with, of course, one of my favorite actors, Mr. T, because I just think I just adore and love that man. And but we said it was also picked because not only did we love the show, but they could represent different houses. So the final design that you see here is, of course, the Brobnar version of Mr. T, because he's the most recognizable person from the A team. But we actually all had our favorite houses, and so we had one from Dis, we had one from Shadows, and we had one from Brobnar, of course, being my favorite. So each person's favorite, and we're going to have Hannibal. We're going to have the other members of the A team, but we settled on just one because we thought it was going to be too much busy work, and we just gave that to Arthur, and we said, "Hey, this is what we think." He did up some drafts, which we'll show, so you can see some of the draft images that he did up, which were beautiful. And we said, "Yeah, let's settle on just the one." And when he showed us this piece, I was just floored. When I showed this to the team, they all said that this is the piece. Like, this is absolutely great. I love this for so many reasons. I love the mohawk. I love the tattoo going over his eye. I love the gold in the teeth. I love the chains because not only do I think of Mr. T wearing a ton of chains, but it also fits into Keyforge because he's holding all the chains. Like, he's wearing 24 chains and he's still going to crush you. And I love that his necklace is the A team. So we settled on AE as a team. We also were thinking maybe EH for like A, or AH as A, because like people think we always say A at the end of our sentences as Canadians. And just so many beautiful things for this. Again, I want to thank Arthur for giving us this beautiful piece pro bono. And the only thing was that he was willing to do it because he loved Keyforge. And I said, yeah, eventually I will have to throw his name out there. And so that's why I'm taking a little bit of extra time, because I didn't get a chance to get a video together until now with Jupiter, and just a wonderful piece of art.
Yeah, just on the record too, like we've done this video already once before this, but it was way too long. So we had to really focus ourselves down to be able to get this to a reasonable length. And we've done really well, but know that this we spent a lot of time in thinking about the things we said, and we tried to narrow it down and stuff. So I know you guys might have felt that we kind of breezed through your pieces or whatnot and stuff, but there was just so many. The community poured so many out. We wanted to, make sure that everybody got at least a little bit of the light. And with that said, the last design that Dominic put on our slide is my Fifth Planet Keyforge logo. The nuts and bolts about this is obviously Fifth Planet is Jupiter. This is like a name that I came up with just when I started streaming and doing podcasting, and the design was like one that my friend Jason Shearer from Team Reapout made for me pro bono, and I love it, and I would never get rid of this design. This is like the one thing of Keyforge that is like very personal to me. When I went to Albany, I had a play mat that everybody signed. When I went to my Prime, everybody signed it. Like, I have basically, it's hanging on my wall, like with all the different people that I met playing Keyforge. So it means a lot to me. I thank Jason like for days for this and working with me. I was kind of being picky about like saying I want to get those three colors for the keys and I want the blue, the yellow, and the red. And so he made this cool like orbital like circle structure with the it looks like a portal almost like a something you'd see in Stargate or something. That just like I love this design. It's clean. It's fun. It's something that's very cool to me. So I don't know what you got to say about it, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's again, it's all our personal designs that we absolutely love. The thing that I love about, and you talked about it when we initially did it, was that you were like, yeah, the planet itself almost has like a cartoonish feel to it. And I mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, like it almost feels like I'm watching like an '80s or late or early '90s cartoon where I don't know if you remember those cartoons where the planet would be there and it would start spinning, or even like a '70s, like the old Star Trek, where you're like they would show the planet and it would have like our TVs weren't the best back then, but the planet would be spinning and whatnot. And I'm looking at the stars on the side, and the not stars, but a little bit of the sparkles would be just for a little bit of glare effect. But yeah, it's a very personal thing. Like you said, you love your blue, yellow, and red keys, and you've been the Fifth Planet Keyforge for a very long time, supporting the community. You talked about giving out the fuzzy Groon to a member, and that's on your own. And you decide, hey, I want to be someone that's supporting the community. And one thing I want to do that you weren't expecting is I want to thank yourself for being such a huge part of the community. And it just recently we've seen on the Facebook group that there's been multiple people talking about like how you've helped them out on it, because there was a post about like, hey, can you mention community leaders, and a lot of people have mentioned yourself as someone that is a forefather trying to get the community built for Keyforge. So a little bit of kudos to yourself, and you've been doing this as the fifth planet, as yourself, of course, as Jupiter, doing this for a long while, right? So this is why we came together as well for this, because we love the game and we love talking about the art.
Thanks, but I mean, I just do what is right for the game, right? And I just like to help people out, so that's what I do. And you know, without supports, like I'm a great like innovator, but I need people to sustain, and like that's the cool thing about Keyforge and the community is that when I come up with these crazy ideas and stuff, and I'm way over my head, I have people like Crazy Killing Machine that come in and help me, and I have the Dominics of the world that go, hey, this let's like do this and keep you on a pace or keep you on an idea. So like and you come up with great ideas, and like together we work really well because I'm the person that like goes like I it's like you set it all up and you plan it all out and stuff, and like we're good to go and stuff, and then I do the work for it, and then I know that you're already working on the next thing and the promotion and stuff. So like it's been great to work with you as well, and I know you do a lot of work up there in Canada. So this is us patting each other's back. Neither one of us had planned it, but I like what we are as a community as a whole for Keyforge, period. And I will help anybody out, new players I send decks to, everything like that. That's always open. You just have to talk to me and get to know me. And I will always do my best to make sure that you are enjoying the game of Keyforge, because without you, there is no me. So it's an important fact of life. But that's all I got for this podcast slash VOD. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of these arts and enjoy the little bits that we've showed you. We'll be back to our regular game plan here next time. Might be a little bit. Might do one more before Christmas, and then like we'll probably take a break for Christmas. But we'll see what the schedule brings. But this was a really fun one to do, and I thank all the people that submitted and all the people that we may have shanked some art from because we found it somewhere. But either way, community art, all things that we like a lot. So I say thank you, and if we don't see you before the holidays, enjoy your holidays.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. Stay safe, enjoy your holidays, spend it with friends and family, and watch out for each other, right? And most of all, enjoy the games and time that you have with each other. So that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got too. So we're out. This is Jupiter from Manlius, New York, and my friend.
And Dominic from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Cheers.